right now. Today is the day that you choose to change the rest of your life. It is time to turn your setback into the greatest comeback story ever told, and nobody is more capable than you. This is the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please subscribe and spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast wherever you are and to whomever will listen. If you'd like to connect on social media or wherever else, check out my Linktree page, Linktree/the Ranting Weight Watcher. Let's connect today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the redemption series of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. First, I would like to introduce my two co-hosts, the two best people to come out of Chicago since Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, Heather and Sophie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you, Heather, tell everyone about you?
Born and raised in Chicago. I am a fitness enthusiast. I used to be a personal trainer many, many moons ago, probably in my late 20s. It was something that I was very passionate about. I'm still passionate about it. I don't do, that's not my bread and butter. That's not my moneymaker, but it's definitely a passion that I have.
How did you get into being personal training?
My dad. My dad just passed away in August, and give me a second. And I helped take care of him, but he was such an important part of my life, and that's the one thing that he instilled in me: health and wellness. Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, you have absolutely nothing. That was something that he strived for. He didn't just preach it, he lived it. He walked to work, he would lift his weights faithfully ever since I was a kid. And I would watch him. He bought me a pair of 3-pound iron dumbbells. And I used to sit down and I would weight train with him. And that's how I really learned how to weight train, from watching him my whole life. My dad was kind of neurotic too with what he ate. And I'm just, I'm just like him. One minute he's like, I'm going all vegan. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of that. And then after that wears off, he's like, I think I'm going to go Atkins. I'm kind of done with all the potatoes. Just give me the meat. And I am like that. And right now, for me, it's just about finding balance, not going too far here or too far there. He was a great man, and he just taught me so much, and so many of the things that I used to watch him do, I find myself doing it. And my dad had Parkinson's. My dad was robbed. It was very bad. But the one thing he kept doing was walking and lifting. He told me, he said, Heather, the day I stop exercising is the day that I'm out of here. He was sick about 1.5 years, and finally he was gone. It was quick, and I'm grateful for that. It's hard to watch somebody that you love, who set out to take care of themselves their whole life, and it's taken just like that. A lot of times when I get lazy, I pull from him. And I remind myself his blood is in me. And that is what keeps me going. I was going through an issue probably the last 2 years. My A1C has been higher than it should have been. And it was in the pre-diabetic range. I was angry. I'm a firm believer that genetics is one thing, but your lifestyle, it's what pulls the trigger. And I knew that I needed to just really get my head back in the game, because it wasn't, because I was just dealing with grief. It's a lot. And if it wasn't for therapy, God only knows where I would be now. I ended up realizing that I am in perimenopause. And there's so many things that go on in perimenopause that most women don't even realize until it's so bad. And guess what? Wacky blood sugar is one of them. And now that I'm taking estrogen, my blood sugar is starting to get normal. So the doctor wanted to give me diabetes medication when I really didn't need that. I just needed estrogen. And it was just this long, drawn out, it was like a fight. You have to learn how to advocate for yourself. You have to learn how to ask the right question.
But
get a specialist.
You're on the right path now, right? Things are good looking up.
Thank
you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you also have a podcast, or is it a podcast or it's a YouTube show?
No, it is going, well, eventually, hopefully YouTube. But right now I just started my Instagram. I actually did it today, so I haven't posted anything. But
you want to tell everybody what it's going to be called?
The Midlife Montage. So that's one thing. Thank you.
Sophie.
Yes.
You want to tell everyone about yourself?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I am Sophie, and some of you or most of you know me as Coach Sophie F. And I have been a Weight Watchers coach for 11 years now, which is super exciting. I actually grew up very fit and athletic, and I went through a really, really tough time in my life, and I put on 60 pounds. So that was the first time I ever dealt with a weight issue. And I did every crash diet out there imaginable. And then I joined Weight Watchers. And after I hit goal in lifetime, I wanted to work for the company. So I've been working with them part-time. I do have a full-time job for 11 years. I started in the studio, and then I've been on the national virtual side for 3 years now. And that's where I met Donato, which is awesome. I've gone through a lot of learning as well as all of you, on this journey. And I struggled recently with a weight gain. So the first time in a long time, I went through some depression last year. First time I ever went through some deep depression. And a lot of people didn't know I was going through this because I hid it very well. And I took a leave of absence from Weight Watchers just to work on my mental health. My concentration mostly is mindset and the environment that we're in. And I feel that eating right helps, right? Lose weight. Working out helps us lose weight. But if we don't fix what's up here and what's around us, I feel that we're not going to get where we want to be at. And so I took last year, just worked on my mental health. I knew that I gained weight, but I put that on the back burner. And then also have been an insomniac for many years, only going with 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep a night. The past 2 months, I've been working on that because I knew that if I didn't fix everything else around me, my mindset, my sleep, that the workouts weren't going to happen, the eating healthy wasn't going to happen. So now I'm on this journey now to lose the weight. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I hope all of you join me on that. But I love my job at Weight Watchers. I've helped thousands of individuals lose weight and change their mindset. It's just something I love to do. So I'm really excited that you invited me on to do this, Donato.
I'm so excited to have you. You want to tell everyone when your workshops are?
Yes. Since a leave of absence, I lost a lot of workshops. So I only have 3 right now, hoping to get more maybe down the road. But I am on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. So you could find me there. You can also find me on Instagram. That's where you'll find my weight loss journey. And my name is On The Go Sophie, because I'm always on the go. So that kind of fits me perfectly.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we're going to introduce our first member of the Redemption Group, Anne Marie. How are you?
Hello, Great. I'm great. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for being here.
So my journey goes way back too, ever since far before I could even remember. I have seen pictures of me being a chubby little kid. I grew up in an Italian family where food was always celebrated. Yet in my immediate family, I was the only one ever with a weight issue. So that was actually extra challenging because there was always food around. Yet I was the one that had to be on a diet. I've been on all kinds of diets since I was a kid. And, it was hard as a kid because I was like a regular average kid, just wanted to eat like everyone else in the family. And I was active, but always chubby. As an adult, I carried it into my young adult. But as a young adult, I actually, through perseverance and eating healthy and working out a lot, I lost, over 100 pounds, about 120 pounds, kept it off for several years, got married, had a baby. Amazingly enough, it just crept right back on. And, when you just kind of let your guard down and you just start eating whatever, it just went to crap. So found myself really kind of yo-yoing for years, losing and gaining the same, 10 pounds. 2016, I joined Weight Watchers probably for, the 30th time. I don't know. I think the first time I walked into a Weight Watchers, I was about 17 years old. It stuck with me. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. And I lost about 75 pounds, a little over actually. It's 2016. So that took me a couple of years. However, the last few years, it's starting to creep back on. And I'm kind of at a midlife. I'm 55 years old and I'm kind of struggling with hormonal issues that women have. So when your hormones are out of balance, everything gets kind of wacky. I've been teetering back and forth, losing the same 5 to 10 pounds doing the point system. I do go to Weight Watchers, but I find that the point system, it's not really working that well for me because I tend to white knuckle it all week long and then go crazy on the weekends with tons of points. It just hasn't been working for me. Been listening to your show for a few years, actually. Someone mentioned it in a Weight Watchers meeting several years ago, and I probably listened to every episode. And I was just drawn to you because you know what, you call it like you see it. And so that always is really motivating to me. And I'm a sucker for, the Rudies and the Rockies of the world. And, I want to be that underdog story. And I know that I have it in me to do it. And I've done it a couple times. So the last thing I want to do is get all the way back up to where I regain all the weight. There's no way I am letting that happen. Recently, with kind of the help of Donato, and you mentioned it on your show, Unlock Your Macro Type. I have listened to that book a few times actually, and I finally took the plunge and did all of the steps and figured out where I'm at, and I've been following it for the past just about a week. It's actually, I've been feeling good actually. So I've been feeling good. I feel satisfied, but my goal for life, where I see myself is, I don't want to have this relationship with food though, where I'm always having to monitor everything. I just want to eat because I'm hungry, choose good things that make me feel good, and live my life. So here I am.
All right. Kathy.
Hi, Donato. I'm so grateful for you and all of your shares and stories. And just, I don't know, I feel like you're grabbing me by my fingernail, pulling me along here. I've been in and out of Weight Watchers since 1987. I was newly married. I knew from a very early start in my life that I was different from everyone. Like there was something uniquely different about me. I realized that there was just something I needed to do to make me look and feel good and be like everyone else. So I joined Weight Watchers in 1987 after being married for about a year or so. White knuckled my way down to 136 pounds. And I just had this thought that, I'm at goal. The whole world is going to sit right on this axis and I'm going to be wonderful. Well, not to be joking about it, but it felt like once I got on the scale, all of that halo over my head didn't happen. And along the way, the weight just kept coming on and I never got back to center to get back to working on myself. Lo and behold, as the years go on and everything, I decided in 2022 to go back to Weight Watchers. But this time I was highly motivated because I had a close friend that had gone the gastric bypass route, and he lost, like, I don't know, 130 pounds in 10 months or something. And he was my biggest cheerleader to say, Kathy, you should try it. You should do it. I fought with the insurance and they said, no, it's elective surgery. We're not paying for it. The cost out of pocket in January of 2022 was $26,000. And I'm like, what the heck? I can do so much more with $26,000. I'm not paying that. That's just ridiculous. If I really, really try really hard and put my best foot forward and I don't lose 30 pounds by June, we can revisit this conversation. But as of January 12th or 13th of 2022, I knew in my heart of hearts I had not tried. And by June, I had lost the 30 pounds, but I didn't lose any more in the year of 2022 because in my head, I proved him wrong. In January of 2023, I says, wait a minute, why are you so all in on proving him wrong? Why don't you prove yourself right? Now I decided, oh, I'll start tracking. Maybe I'll lose more. And I started the journey and I lost another 30 to 35 pounds. So I ended the year of 2023 of January down 70 pounds. The milestones became my target. I wanted that 75 pounds. I was just determined to not lose my progress. And once I got it, I got there way quicker than I anticipated. And again, something changed. I gained 3 pounds, then I gained 2. And today's struggle for me since January 13th of 2024 is to get my head back in the game, taking care of myself and not allowing myself to believe that I'm a failure because I've gained back now 10.8. So I'm no longer a person that lost 75 pounds. I'm a person that lost it but didn't maintain it, and now I'm up 10 pounds. I was just looking for something to get me back on the right path. At the end of the day, I know in my heart, or in my head, I should say, that the number on the scale doesn't identify my self-worth, but there's still that game. There's that trickery in the head that goes on, I just feel like at this point in the game, I can so derail myself and be back at 276 in a heartbeat. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Cynthia.
Hello, hello.
Hi, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It means a lot to be in this group. So I'm Cynthia. I live south of Atlanta. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a government worker, and I love my job. I do communications for government. I run, I do CrossFit, and all of these activity type of things I discovered during my weight loss journey. I was 5 pounds from my goal weight when I moved to Georgia 2 years ago. Now I'm 17 pounds away. Also, I think maybe 8 months before I moved to Georgia, I discovered the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast again because I had listened to it. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I'm not sure if this is for me, but I discovered it again. And I was like, let me listen to this and actually do what the man's asking me to do and see what I get. Whole new world opened up to me. I discovered that consistency was something that I was not doing at all. I pretended like I was doing, but I wasn't. So that has been a goal of mine, just to get consistent. Like with the food part, the exercise part, apparently I have it. Just consistency is just the food and weighing part. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Cheryl.
Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm 64. I'm a registered nurse and work full time. And when I had my son, I was 95 pounds when I got pregnant. Not 105 pounds. First diet ever was to go back to the 105 pounds. Every year I would gain back 5 more pounds. So I went from 105 to 110. I kept doing that until I reached 100 pounds overweight. And now I do Planet Fitness. I lost and gained back 100 pounds like 3 times. And this last time I added Noom to the equation of Weight Watchers. So I was doing Weight Watchers and I was also paying for a subscription to Noom just for my mindset. Their mindset is what helped me the most with keeping it off. It took me like 13 months to take the 100 pounds off once again. And I've kept that 100 pounds off now for 15 months. About a year ago, I was panicking. I'm thinking I'm going to gain the weight back. I know I'm going to gain it back. So I started searching podcasts and I said, let me see if I could find someone who could help me think right. And because I was kind of losing, even Noom taught me, and I found Donato. I fell in love with him. I went back and I listened to every single podcast he made, bought the Unlock Your Macronutrients. I went and bought the tennis shoes he suggested. It was like he was my guru. And everything you said, I took to heart. Long story short, now I'm still scared to death I'm going to gain back the weight. When you started talking about doing this group, I said, I got to be part of it because I need to keep this weight off and I need my people to do it because none of my friends are like into eating right or exercising. So it's just me.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show. Hello, Darren. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Great. My name is Darren Olson. I am 54 years old, live in the Seattle, Washington area. I have been fighting the battle with food, I'm going to say my entire life, as long as I can remember. 12 years ago, I had the lap band surgery, then was able to get down to 250 pounds. What the lap band did is the lap band changes you physically. It does not change your relationship with food. At times, I just felt like, okay, great, but I was living in hell. I got back up into the 330 range, committed off and on to Weight Watchers probably 20 times throughout the years. My current weight is around 265 pounds, feeling okay where I'm at right now. I'm not where I want or where I need to be. I'm realizing that there is never a finish line. I just need to find a consistent, happy place with my relationship with food. I think that, when I'm walking and listening to your podcast, I think that, okay, wow, this is a Florida version of me. What we did to our bodies, thinking that that was going to be the end all save all, and it isn't. It changes you physically. It does not change you mentally. I am excited to participate in this group, and this is me. So,
Right. Thanks a lot. Okay, next up, Jackie.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
This is so surreal to be talking to you. I'm good. So I never had a weight problem. I was a dancer. I'm older now, but I'm a retired dancer. I had a lot of active things going on. I was doing shows all the time, and I never had to worry much about my weight because I was always active. As a young person, I got married and I had a tragedy in my life where I lost my husband in a car accident and left me with a 2-month-old baby. From that point, everything just seemed to have fallen apart. And it's been 2 decades. And in those 2 decades, I probably gained about 60 pounds, just like very similar to the other stories that are here. And yo-yoed up and down 20, 30 pounds. But in 2022, I made the decision to go back to Weight Watchers, and I managed to lose 60 pounds. But now, here's the problem. It's creeping back up. I want to get back into that space where I was when I was able to stay on the diet and be true to it and track every day and get back, rather than have it be the same old story where you lose the weight and then you just gain it back again. I want to stay in the right frame of mind, but I see it happening and I'm starting to dread the scale again. And I want to find that magic formula to just get there before it's too late and before I lose the battle again. So that's my story.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Jane, man, we have known each other for quite a while.
We have. I'm so excited.
It is an honor to have you on this show.
Oh, That's so nice of you to say that. I the reason I love you is because, well, number one, I love what you have to say, but the name and the ranting, I just can so relate to it because it's me. I love to rant. And so when it's been so long, I don't even remember how we found each other. But I think you came to one of my workshops actually when we were virtual. Just one time you popped on. But after when Weight Watchers went virtual. So a little bit about me. I'll be 70 and I can't believe I'm saying that. So I say it all the time. June 2nd coming up. And I have been a Weight Watcher since I was 16. I started in 1970-ish and I got to goal probably 1980 and wanted to get on staff because that was a big deal, right? So I became a receptionist for about 10 minutes because I started gaining my weight back and I quit my job because I thought they'd fire me. Crazy thinking, right? But I still came back to workshops and then I finally became a leader and started gaining my weight back. So I quit again. In the midst of all this, I lost my parents at 19, 4 months apart. I lost my brother when I was in my 40s. Fast forward 22 years ago, I lost my son to suicide. So there's been this whole life of ups and downs, in and outs, but Weight Watchers has always been there with me. And I've been through all the different programs. I'd go into workshops, get to goal, and then I think I was cured and I'd leave. I'm really working really hard to be consistent, to stay in it, track everything, good, bad, or ugly. It really helps clear my mind when I get sidetracked or I can go to the dark side. And I'm just really excited to be here. Thank you guys for showing up and Donato for bringing this on.
Thank you so much for joining the show. Okay, next up is Julie.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. It's just, I have so much because Donato, you have been such an inspiration to me during my journey. I could really resonate with a lot of what you said. For example, I joined Weight Watchers a year ago in February. I had gastric sleeve in 2013. I started out, my highest was 354. I got down to about 220 and then it started coming back. When I started in February of 23, I was 297 pounds. I said, that's it. I have to do something. Last week, I celebrated losing 100 pounds. I started listening to you, I think in June of last year. So it was right before I started the holidays. And you were a godsend because it got me through the holidays. I need to learn. I have so much to learn yet. I struggle every day. I think I just want to do better. And in addition to Weight Watchers, I use my work benefits for mental health. So I go to a therapist. With all of that, I'm just trying to be positive and change who I am and continue on. And I'm so excited to be here. So thank you.
Okay. Loretta, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am super excited also to be here and to meet you, Donato. But I'm 54. I live in Virginia. I've lived in Virginia my entire life, except for maybe 6 to 9 months in Florida when I was in my early 20s and I was whooping it up. I have a son that lives in San Diego. He's 31, great kid. I've been in banking for 31 years. And the last year I've been working remote. So I've been all over the place and it is great. I have a super busy life. I have a great church. I have a great relationship with a man of my dreams. I was diagnosed with RA. That's the fight for me. I know that can take my fun life away. My mom died early at 63, morbidly obese. My dad died at 85, probably 3 years ago. My current struggles after being on an appetite suppressant, I kicked and screamed about taking the suppressant. They told me to eat 30 carbs a day. I did that for 3 weeks and then I ate everything that was not nailed down, even though I had listened to all that you had said about gradually taken it down, gradually take, have a set, read the book that you do, the macros, but it was a doctor, right? So I tried to do what they said. Gained 8 pounds on appetite suppressant, right? My struggles are late night eating. When I go out with my girlfriends, I just never stay on plan. I want to gain the confidence that I can change. I want to forgive myself, get over my baggage, and move the hell on. Move on, for God's sakes. So I swore I wasn't going to cry. I'm the only one that's cried. Darn it.
It's don't worry about it. It's okay.
I'm committed.
Good.
So I'll show up, and I'm not going to beat myself up if I slip up.
Good. I like that. Thank you for joining the show. Okay, next up is Rachel.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. Donato, I have to tell you, my goal was to be on your podcast at one point or another. But at first, when I started listening to you, I'm like, who's this guy? Like, really? Like, what is the deal with this whole Ranting Weight Watchers podcast? And I have to tell you, like, every time I listen to you, because I listen to you when I weight train. I feel like that's something that I like to hear, and I like to hear you say things. And I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, because I had a lot of questions with my weight, with my mindset, with everything else. My mother has weight issues, but it wasn't that she was heavy. She would monitor her weight to the point where it was like very strict dieting. It would be like 12 spaghetti strands on the plate. And I saw that. And when I started gaining my weight, my mother would be like, oh, well, I think you need to go to Weight Watchers. And I was like, Weight Watchers, what? And I knew that in my head, I thought I was skinny. When I looked in the mirror, I looked at myself as being skinny, but I know when I was trying to put my clothes on, it was very different. So back in 1999, I walked in there with my tail between my legs, and I was like, this is it. And that was the start of my Weight Watchers journey. And I said, okay, I'll give it 1 week. If I lose, I'll stay. If I don't, I'll figure it out. I lost my weight in 1999. I felt like, wow, this is it. This is the greatest thing. I met goal. When COVID came, the state of New Jersey decided that we need to be remote. And that was a very different type of situation for me. And the kitchen was 10 feet away. So I would start to eat. And then I thought, okay, I can't do this anymore. I suffer from migraines, and I have to go to a neurologist. There was one time, or during the time of COVID, I went there and I said, I need something more. And he said, okay, I'll give you this. And he gave me, it's not dopamine, it's topamine. And what that is it helps with the migraines, but it also helps with weight loss. So I would take it, and I started dropping weight. And the next month he would say, Rachel, how you doing? I would say, oh, I'm doing horrible. My migraines are so bad. But it wasn't the migraines. I wanted to lose more weight. So the more dosages, the more the weight came off, to the point where I guess it was 6 months in, and I was like, oh, I can't deal with my head anymore. He would say, well, we need to do injectables. I made it to that point where I had to have injections into my stomach, and I was actually lying to him because I wanted the weight to come off. So I decided, that's it. I'm not going to do this, because honestly, I was getting addicted to the pills. I gained weight back, and I could have called him back and said, look, I need the pills back. This is what I need. I said, no, I'm going to stay the course. It's been a rocky journey. It's been hard for me to think that I was or am not only a food addict, but I was becoming a pill addict. I have children. They see me going, oh, you know what? I'm strict like my mother, but I'm taking pills to get more weight off. I'm struggling. I'm struggling emotionally with mental health also. But I feel like when I was listening to your podcast, and again, it was on a whim, I was like, oh, this guy makes sense. I can do this. And when you did your creed, there's a part where it says, I am enough. It's so true. I am enough. And I always think what you do next matters most. And I truly believe in that. Now I'm just kind of trying to dip into tracking macros because of your suggestion. And it's helping. I just want to be consistent. And I think that's my goal. So yeah,
Wonderful.
I really do appreciate, me being on here.
Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Okay, the last but not least, Taffy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I think there's a benefit to going last besides just building up all the nerves and everything. But listening to everybody here, I can just so relate, and it makes me feel even more confirmed that this is the place that I need to be. I'm from Chicago. I've lived in Florida for 4 years and I love it. I do miss some things about Chicago. I turned 70 on June 2nd. So, Jane, we have got something else in common. And so I've been going through this journey since I was 10. My mother decided, hey, I wanted to be a cheerleader at 10, and all the other girls were a lot thinner. And so she said, let's go on this diet. I've been on everything. I've been on Jenny Craig. I've done it all. As long as you put something in front of me, I can follow it and I just do just fine. The problem is that once I've lost that 40 pounds and you take that away, I can't maintain. I joined Weight Watchers in 2018 when I came down to Florida and realized that all I was going to do was party and drink. This Florida life was more than a vacation. It was going to be my lifestyle. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I gained all this weight. And in 2019, I made Lifetime. I loved the community of Weight Watchers. I loved that part of it. But I started to gain it back then again. I don't think I learned anything. I just liked to have the community. I couldn't face the scale. That I came and did a virtual, and it was actually you, Sophie, that I got on. And I saw this Ranting Weight Watcher podcast in the background. I thought, what is that? So I looked it up and I got on it and I thought, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable. I mean, Donato, I shared you with everybody. I'm like, this is the first time in my life that somebody is no nonsense. It's just no nonsense. It's just do it. I thought, oh my God, this is the answer. But sorry to say, I don't know what it is. Sophie, I kind of relate with you too. I started to gain the weight back again. I don't understand why it controls me. How does that control me? I mean, I had a job where I was director of operations from a major business in Chicago for 20 years. I'm working now. I've got a great job. I love it. I've got 2 fantastic kids. I've had some not real good things happen to me too, but it's like, why is this controlling me? I don't understand when I feel like I can control everything else. I've kind of lost it. I can't even face the scale. I can't even tell you how much I've gained, but I know that I can't fit into my clothes. I'm not going out anymore with my friends. I'm not going to church. And it stinks. It's really hard. So I feel what has really drawn me, except for all of you, which has drawn me to you, is the education piece that I'm hearing from you, Donato. I thought I knew what to eat because I could lose it. But I really need the education and I need the support from all of you. So I'm excited to be here.
I'm
I
excited
just
to have you here.
feeling.
My one goal for all of you is that your knowledge surpasses mine. I want to give a special thanks. First to my co-hosts, Sophie and Heather. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you are with me for this project. We are going to do amazing things together, the three of us. And this is only the beginning of those things. And I want to give a special thanks to everyone who spoke today. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable to an invisible audience. But I assure you, today is the beginning of the rest of your life. I can't wait to see how all of you transform. And just like I said to you guys, what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. If you put 0, you get 0. Everything is hindrance on what you are willing to do. I know that every single one of you is able. The question is, are you willing? You've been instructed to buy journals. Your first journal entry in that book is your mission statement. The instructions for that mission statement I made available for download in the Redemption group. So hopefully you downloaded it. And if you didn't, you can contact me and I will make it available for you to download. The second part is the daily journal entries. The daily journal entries are simple questions. And these things will tell us a lot in the coming weeks. Really, your work for the next 4 weeks is pretty simple. I told you to download the checklist challenge from my website, therantingweightwatcher.com. The checklist challenge is a walkthrough on how to make the behaviors, the fundamental behaviors that make anyone successful in any plan. Download those and find out what you're not consistent in by reading it. Find out what phase you're in just by standing here today. If you're in phase 1, fine, start in phase 1. If you're in phase 3 or 4, then start in 3 or 4. Whatever you got to do, that needs to be worked on for the next 4 weeks. And your journal entries need to be worked on for the next 4 weeks. Your mission statement must be complete, and daily journal entries until the next time we get together must be complete. Do you need to be perfect? No. The reason I'm having you write journal entries is because when you answer the specific questions I have laid out for you, it will tell us something in 4 weeks' time. When you start to compare all of your journal entries and you're answering the same questions every single day, when you get to that one question that says, is there a moment you would like to have back today? If so, why? What would you do different if you could have it back? When you're answering that question every single day, we might find a trend. Over 4 weeks' time, we can say if you do the exact same thing over and over and over again, we will see it as long as you're writing it down. Like I said, what you put into it, you will get out of it. So at the end of 4 weeks' time, we should be able to take a look back at all of these journal entries and find something you're commonly doing. So when we get together, we'll be able to say, this is what I need to work on. And all of us together can brainstorm a plan on how you can work on that trended item. That's the goal for the journal entries. You know what's required of you. The rest is up to you. Remember, no one can do this for you. You are here right now for a reason. I don't need to know that reason. God already knows that reason. And He knows exactly the conversations that need to be had to get you to open your heart and give your all to this project. I have every bit of faith that in the process of us meeting together, all of your minds will be opened, all of your hearts will be opened, and your lives are surely going to transform as a result of it. I want to tell you that I believe in every single one of you. But it doesn't matter how many people believe in you. If you don't believe that you have what it takes to do this, you can have the rest of the world cheering you on, and you won't do it. I need you to really work on forgetting every other attempt, because none of the failed attempts matter except to learn from them. If you're going to beat yourself up for them, they are useless. But if you're going to try and analyze and say, well, why did this happen? When did this happen? How did this happen? That's the only good thing that can come from your failures. The problem is, the world takes a failure and they think that's the end of it all. The failure is only the beginning. It's the beginning of the lesson you need to learn to keep going. That's where everybody's got it backwards. Until you grasp that idea, there's not much I can do or anyone can do to help you. Failure isn't the end. It's only the beginning of the lesson you currently need to learn in order to get to the next one. Because the reality of all this is, there will always be failure. Failure and success, they are brothers. They go together. You can't invite one to your life without inviting the other. So if you want success, failure comes with it. That's the only way to get to success, is by failing over again. So get it out of your head that it's the end. It really is just the beginning of the next lesson. And the quicker you learn the lesson, the quicker you get to the next failure. Do you see how that works? Every time you fail, you get a success. And then you get more failure after that because you're on the next lesson. It never ends because there's always something new to learn. So in reality, none of the failures matter because in the end, they all lead to the best version of you as long as you allow it. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.